Mm-hmm.
He realizes a vampire and runs out of that room and goes to the stairs. It's like Kermit the Frog.
It kind of is very much like his arms are just flailing around like this.
Oh my God, a vampire!
You did the whole thing again. I think you did this last time.
Thought we were doing a shot.
Sorry. Oh, God.
1 second.
That's how we're starting?
Yep.
Holy shit.
Well, hello everyone who's ever spent Christmas Eve and Christmas Day at their local dive bar. My name is Jamie Knudsen, and I'm your host.
I'm Peter, and I'm also your host.
Sorry, I gave you a really shitty segue.
Hey, dude, no, you don't need to introduce me or anything like that. I'm just your co-host. Dude.
You're the double host.
Yeah, I'm your co-host.
I'm your co-host. So welcome to another disgustingly deranged episode of Drunk and Demonic.
Disgustingly deranged?
Yeah.
Is that what we are?
I don't know.
Has anyone ever called you that?
I just thought about it right now, to be honest with you.
Oh.
So, on this episode, we're going to dive into Nosferatu. And before I explain anything else, I'm assuming that my friend here, my boy Pete,
dude,
has himself some sort of trait or thing he wrote to explain it. So, take it away, sir.
No, I don't have anything. Today we're going to just be talking about not only Nosferatu.
You don't have anything, really?
Honestly, I don't really have anything. I am just going to say like a quick thing. Like we're going to cover not just the original 1920-22 Nosferatu and discuss how it may or may not be the most important horror movie made in the last 100 years. But we're also going to talk about the remake that's coming out in 1 week.
I'm blown away right now.
Sorry, I didn't write anything.
It's okay. This is like the one I really assumed you'd have a big right for it because it's like you could use like an English voice or you could have like danced around and laughed a bunch and then we could put captions. Giving you shit, I was just really surprised because you usually have a banger.
I know, but I was really
tired. Oh, just a busy boy.
Busy guy.
All right.
Peak season's officially here, so
you don't have to explain your life to us right now. Let's just go ahead and talk about murder and horror movies.
That's fine.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
No one really cares about what you do outside of this.
I get that.
Makes you feel better. No one cares about me outside of this either.
Yeah, but just remember, though, we are important because people watch us when they're taking shits, and that makes us important.
Shit stamp approval.
Yep.
Well, let's go into our sponsor. We officially have a sponsor. We didn't buy these.
Our sponsor.
Someone sent these to us. We have Black Cat Kombucha.
Is that what it's called?
Black Cat, yeah.
That's sick.
Isn't it cool? So it is non-alcoholic.
Okay.
But
that's new for me.
Yeah, I know. So here's the thing. What I was told is these are great for hangover.
Kombucha naturally doesn't have like some trace alcohols in it?
Yeah, it's like a SCOBY. It's made like fermented.
So there's booze in it.
Well, like 0.0000, like kids.
Hey, that's still booze, man. You drink enough.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm not gonna like the uber ginger ones. I don't do ginger at all. I'll definitely try it though.
Oh yeah, contains less than 0.05 alcohol due to natural.
We're technically getting drunk still.
Well, I would say
take a lot longer than normal.
What they told me is that these are great for hangovers.
Oh.
Yeah. So we have 4 different flavors here that were sent to us. Straw bitters,
Love the
Strawberry
name.
and bitters.
Yep.
We have Uber ginger.
I love the name.
We have mango tango, which one's fun because it has terpenes in it. So you have
What is terpenes? What are those?
it's
I know they're
like a
associated with
cannabinoid.
weed.
It's a cannabinoid. It's like the non-THC or CBD part. What's the other flavor you got there?
I don't know. I just magically was able to grab this one. It's definitely the best one. It's called Razzie Star. Maybe like the raspberry flavor of the most featured artist on any Spotify playlist.
Maisie Star?
Yep.
They announced that they're coming out with a new album. First time in 18 years. So
They have more than one song?
I not to me. I just assumed it was just Fade Into You.
I honestly thought it was just one song.
That was it. It's on every single one.
Good for Razzie Star. Good for Razzie Star. Good for Black Cat Kombucha.
So thank you so much, Black Cat.
Yeah,
Kombucha.
seriously, huge. I'm excited because I have to wake up at around 8 a.m. tomorrow. It is currently 12:05 a.m. So by the time we finish this podcast, it should be about 2 or 3 a.m.
Yeah.
My sister's in town and we're going to go skiing.
Oh, cool, dude. Skiing is dope.
Hope these Black Cat Kombuchas really get me going.
Well,
I will report back.
Which flavor would you like to start?
Oh, I'm Razzie from the beginning, dude.
All right, let's do that. Let's try this out.
Razz it up.
Here you go.
Don't spill it on the interface.
Well, don't put it in front of the interface.
You're
Don't fucking
right.
blame me for shit.
You were definitely right.
Cheers. Just go to sit. That's good.
Holy fuck, that's good. That's not like my thing with kombucha is that I feel like normally it gets a little bit vinegary,
Yeah.
and this is not overly vinegary. It's like it has really, really good flavor. Wow.
Not a lot of sugar either. I thought there'd be a lot of sugar.
It's well, but like it doesn't feel sweet. It feels like natural fruity sweet.
Yeah. Well, I do have a cheat code if you're interested.
I'm paying attention.
All right, excuse me real quick.
What the fuck is that?
Got ourselves a bottle of vodka to put in the kombucha. Mythology, from here in Steamboat. Figure we might
All right.
spice it up, right?
Well,
You were really scared that we weren't going to drink.
I was not at all scared that we weren't going to drink. I am kind of excited for this because I think that it's probably going to work perfectly. You think that you're super sneaky because you hit a bottle of mythology from...
You saw it the whole time, right?
I actually had no idea. Are we going to give a taste test off the bat?
Phenomenal.
Holy fuck, I can't even taste it. So fucking good.
Pairs well with vodka.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Sorry.
buy Black Cat Kombucha and pair it with vodka. If
Available
You're-
for online ordering.
Yeah.
Based out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Wow. That is fucking incredibly
wonderful.
good. All right.
So
You think that you're all cool and stuff like that because you have something that you hid from me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I also hid something from you.
Okay.
So it's
But-
not necessarily out of the box yet, but I did get you the live action Orlok from Nosferatu.
Can we put it
Mr.
right
Kraken
here?
himself. Yep. Should we bust him open?
And I think there's too many parts to bust him open.
He looked
Right.
real good though.
He looks really good.
I don't know. Oh, that's so glary. I love that.
We'll just set him over there.
Here.
I also hid something else from you.
Jesus Christ.
It's with obviously you see the Christmas lights and the fact that Nosferatu comes out on Christmas. That's
Yep.
why we're doing this. So I figured it wouldn't be. I'd have to bring you a Christmas present.
That's
So I
fair.
did.
I brought you one. So yeah, that's it. This is your
Oh, there we go. So I wrapped it really well too.
damn it.
Here you go, buddy.
I don't know why I didn't think you were going to get me something because
Fine. Because you didn't give me anything. It's okay. You got me something. I see it.
no, I don't know why I didn't think you were going to get me something.
Wine.
I thought maybe I was going to show up and like surprise.
We did. I said thank you. It's got too many things on it to open right now, though.
Like, hold on.
This one you have to open up.
Putting it on. I'm putting it on right now.
You have to. Wait till you see this, folks. This is just a gem of a holiday sweater.
Oh my God, dude. That is just soft too.
It wasn't the cheap one. I could tell you that.
It's really nice.
It's kind of a sweater that gets a couple girlfriends mad at you, you know?
All right. Here we go. Right on.
It's pretty sick, dude.
Well,
Yeah.
looking perfect. Wow, it honestly looks better on. No offense, it looks better on camera.
Yeah,
Than it does in real.
yeah, right. It really,
Really good, dude.
yeah, it's not bad for wearing, you know, twice a year. It's the great wear it for Christmas time, you know.
I'm gonna wear it way more often than just Christmas time. Wow. Okay.
Any more surprises?
No surprises. You got your Count Orlok live action figure.
Yeah.
He has multiple heads as well as I think there's like a rat or two.
Figured you have rats.
Yeah, he's got some hands, some
What's with the different heads? I feel like I only saw him in one head.
I'm gonna let you be the judge. It honestly looks like he just has different eyebrows.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, I don't understand why there's different heads. Did the heads just fall off?
I don't either. He doesn't have maybe we can't quite see from this if we open it up. Maybe he has like him in like the hat. Could be one of them. But I'm very
It's in the
confused on
It's in the back.
There's a lot of different hats on the back.
I thought that was Renfield on the back. It's not.
Renfield's not in this movie.
Oh, no, he's in the other remake.
Anyways, now the gift giving is over, and I don't know. I'm fucking pumped.
Yeah.
Kombucha is dangerously good.
It really is. Okay, so where are we going from there, sir?
We're going to roll to hell on earth. I see you looking up stuff. Do you need just another minute? Because I can roll.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to kind of split mine up.
Oh, you have two, obviously.
Well, I just have two quick updates, and it's literally going to be no time at all.
Updates from last week?
Yep.
Perfect.
So last episode, we talked about Richard Allen, who was convicted in the Delphi murders.
Yep, sure did.
His sentencing was pushed to December 20th, so in 2 days, not December 11th. Or I guess that information was incorrect from the get-go. I saw that it was going to be released on December 11th. That was incorrect.
That shit happens.
We'll know in 2 days.
Shit happens.
As well as the Menendez brothers resentencing hearing has actually been delayed until January 30th. So I have nothing to report on that at the moment. But I know that we kind of teased that last episode that we were going to talk about it. I'm fucking sorry. There's nothing that we can report on those two things.
Fault, dude.
All right.
All right. Well, on my subject is the biggest one that's probably in the entire world right now is the man accused of killing the United Healthcare CEO has been charged with murder in the act of terrorism.
Terrorism?
So December 4th, the killing of Brian Thompson was done by Luigi Mangione.
Mangione.
Oh, Mangione.
You gotta get
I'm sorry.
He's Italian.
Hey,
you gotta get that right.
Mangione. I don't have to get anything right. I'm
you don't.
Stupid kid from Wyoming.
He also is definitely going to jail for a long time.
Yeah, so I'm not going to go into and read everything about this because I'm pretty sure everyone knows this whole story.
The whole story?
No, just the fact that this guy killed the CEO of United Healthcare, and he claims it's because he was upset about how much he was charged for his back procedure. Backstory about him is that him and his family are rich.
Yep.
They own a $1.5 million house in New Jersey.
Okay.
For sure.
If it's 1.5 in New Jersey, it's probably a pretty nice house.
Yeah.
1.5 out here is a decent.
Yeah.
It's a 1 bedroom or a 2 bedroom, one bathroom place.
huge story. I think the biggest thing that kind of is crazy to me is the fact that a lot of people are siding with him, Luigi.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you saw the fact that they sold over 100,000 Luigi, like Mario and Luigi hats,
Sure,
off of Amazon.
Yeah,
that people bought,
dude.
to support Luigi.
This is not surprising to me
No,
in the least bit.
no, and I watched an interview with Bernie Sanders,
Okay.
and he's like, "What did you think?"
They talked to him about this?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not see this.
He's like, "What do you think is going to happen? Like, you're the richest country in the world,
Mhm.
and you're the only country that does not provide health care."
Correct.
He's like, "Why would you not think people revolt?" However, it's pretty fucked up that people are just going to support someone that just openly killed someone as they're walking out of a meeting.
For sure.
Your thoughts?
I think, well, like, I don't know. I think that we didn't really talk anything about the case at all. This is definitely going to be a huge either movie or Netflix or Hulu or whatever series. There's all kinds of crazy shit that's going on with this whole story where, like, not only is this, I mean, he has no ties to this CEO, it's Brian Thompson.
Yes.
He has no official ties to him. He doesn't know, like, I don't know how he knew where Brian Thompson was going to be. I'm sure that Brian Thompson has a very dramatic schedule.
It was like outside of the health. It was outside of the.
What was that? The hotel that he was staying at, because he was in town for a conference of a shareholders meeting
in New York City, right?
Yeah, he doesn't live there, so like this whole thing is crazy. How he even knew where he was going to be.
I'll find you.
Anyway, yeah. There's also some crazy things about how he was caught, and like this like bag of Monopoly money that he like left behind that was just there. Like no other evidence was in the bag. It was just to fuck with police. I thought that was an interesting part of it. I think that there is certainly also some interesting things. I know you've seen it because you've looked at a decent amount in this case. I'm sure that like maybe it's not him in the video. So there's a ton of conspiracy theories that are saying this guy is railroaded into, this charge mostly because of his unibrow is not quite as dramatic as the guy in the like surveillance video. It's the most like silly Italian thing of like this guy just like stopping to like chit chat with a fucking barista, and that's why he gets fucking busted. I think that's really like funny. Like he can't even help himself. He just murdered someone. He knows that anywhere he goes, he's gonna be watched, and all of a sudden, yeah.
Well, there was like when they were actively searching for him. There was a lot of people that openly were like trying to deter police away from finding him.
Really? Yeah. See, like, and I didn't hear a ton of that, but like, I also think that it is incredibly. There's a lot of stuff about this that's very strange. So
you're going conspiracy theory right now.
I am going conspiracy theory, but more so not. I don't have any answers for anything. I just have lots of questions. How do you, one, evade for the most part, nationwide manhunt for 3 days? Very difficult to do, especially when they had this evidence pretty early. They had the CCTV pretty early. And second of all, they find you with the fake IDs that you used to check into a hotel that was next door to where the other guy was, or to where Brian Thompson was staying. You still have that fake ID, and that's the one that you present to the police. You also have the same 3D printed gun with you that you used to commit this crime. 3 days later, right? Was it 3 days, I think, he was on the run for?
Yes.
Why do you have any of that shit still? You have to get rid of it, right?
Yeah, throw it off the
This kid's, like, from what I can see, he's an honor roll student. He is the top of his class, valedictorian. He's a smart.
Go.
There's a ghost in here. He's a smart kid, right?
Yeah.
He's getting rid of the evidence as soon as he can.
He did not. I think he wanted to be caught.
I think so too. And I think that he will get his day in court, and he's going to, like, you know, we've already seen that in his manifesto, he's referenced Ted Kaczynski, who was also just like, no, I will not take an insanity plea. I want the world to hear what I have to say.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
Yep.
Well, what else do we want to say about the whole Luigi Mangione?
I think that it's not just Luigi. There's also other parts of this that just like, it just screams how fucking fucked up our system is, because not only is like, I'm assuming that this is the guy. I don't know when they knew that it was him and how long it took them to actually find him. There's also like reports that like the person from fucking McDonald's that called them in isn't getting the reward number or getting the reward money because they called the wrong fucking phone number. That's some fucking bullshit too, man.
Give them the money.
I don't know. This whole thing just screams of like, it could blow up into something else. I think that we have seen Hollywood starting to crumble. We've seen the music world start to crumble. We are seeing the infrastructure, like, we're seeing the upper tier of America start to kind of like fall apart.
Well, like the dollar too. Like,
yeah,
everything's so fucking expensive.
And I think that these things are all interrelated,
yeah,
but I also think that they're all important to consider independently as well as together.
Downfall of civilization. Yeah,
we're going through some shit right now, and this is like a specific manifestation of how fucked up shit kind of is going right now.
100%. You think that, like, I'd say 50% of people are for or supporting Luigi over the killing of this man?
Right. I think that, like, if you have to look at the numbers, I don't know. This is going to be a bad take, and I'm going to preface it with that.
Okay.
But for the sake of discussion and playing the devil's advocate, if you have to look at the numbers of how many people Luigi Mangione has killed, right, versus the number of people that Brian Thompson has killed by denying, deny, delay, depose? Is that the three things?
Yep.
Right? From a healthcare executive, from the CEO of a hugely prominent healthcare company, the number of people that are dying from cancer, that are dying from preventable diseases. It's cheaper to die than to live.
100%.
If you look at the body count, I'm sure that there's a pretty significant discrepancy there, and it's really hard to justify. Like I said, it's going to be a harsh, bad take, but I don't think that it's out of line.
It's for sure. It's literally, I tried to sign up for health insurance this week.
Yep.
And I was like, fuck, what? $600 a month?
$600 a month. And like,
yeah,
even if you do get fucking hurt,
and it's still a deductible of $10,000. Yep. I think it was $6,700. So if I get hurt,
the system's fucking broken, and like it takes fucking people mobilizing to make a change. There's obviously it's not always like the government can't solve all our problems for us.
No, they act like they can.
They sure do, and that's what they run on.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I think that's my opinion on it. I know it's a little bit of a harsh and maybe a bad take, but it's brutal.
I think we should segue on over and get rid of this bad news.
You want to talk about UFOs for just a second?
Yeah, but sure.
Have you seen any of the footage coming out of New Jersey?
I have.
Speaking of New Jersey and
yes,
shit,
I have.
This shit's wild.
Yeah.
This is full on, like, specifically UFO footage. Like, they're not even fucking.
Well, they say it's drones. That's what they want you to think. Okay, talk about it. Sorry.
I'm more pumping this for a conspiracy angle. Have you heard of Project Bluebeam yet? Not Project Blue Book.
No, just a little bit. Like, vaguely. I was reading about it today.
So Project Blue Book is the name for the FBI and the CIA's investigation into UAP, unidentified anomalous because we fucked it up last time. Phenomena. Project Blue Beam is this whole different conspiracy theory about how maybe, and they say that it comes from like NASA, but that the UFOs that we are now seeing and are being told are real, and we're seeing more and more evidence of, is actually not even UFO at all. It's done by either our government or upper powers even higher than our government, New World Order type shit, to try to indoctrinate us into believing the aliens are real, because they think that is the only way we will now unite the entire world under a one world government.
What?
Have you not heard about any of this?
Not that whole part, no.
Yeah. So Project Blue Book is pretty much the name for the US's investigation into the UAPs. And that is all very real. Now, Project Blue Beam is a conspiracy-based theory that that NASA pretty much is responsible for a New World Order takeover of the world under a one world government. And I'm seeing that like maybe it has a little bit to do with aliens coming, because it really is like maybe the one uniting factor that could fucking make us all put down our fucking weapons against each other and fight a common enemy. Because
yeah, it makes sense.
You can fucking make an enemy, you make some friends. And this is the most compelling evidence consistency we're hearing from the chambers of Congress acknowledgement of UFO activity. We're seeing these videos popping up everywhere now of people seeing UFOs that look real as fucking shit. And maybe they're saying it's drones, but like they're tongue-in-cheek saying it's drones. They're not like, no, it is 100% not drone, or like it is 100% a drone. They're like, we think that it's drones. We don't exactly know. Maybe it's like, today I saw that it's like, oh yeah, maybe it's like an escape of like our nuclear stuff. I don't fucking know what's going on, but I think that this was an interesting conspiracy theory that I got chucked into, that I think is absolutely insane. If we can fucking recognize it before it happens, we don't have to fucking think that all this is fake.
Yeah, well, if it does happen, then we're doomed anyways.
Yep.
Damn.
I guess it doesn't exactly. We're fucked either way.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Can't even fucking afford your own healthcare, buddy.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
how are you gonna fight aliens?
I don't know.
You ain't Will Smith.
The UFO shit is so cool right now, and I'm like super into it.
Very much fun.
But it is sucked into this fucking YouTube hole that got into Project Blue Book or Blue Beam, and it is like way scary. So if anyone's interested, check out there's
Project
hundreds of videos on Project Blue Beam.
Oh, sounds great.
Watch like 2 or 3. Please don't go down a rabbit hole. It's not worth your time and it's not worth the effort. Enjoy yourself in life. That's really all you can do. And don't fucking get sucked into rabbit holes that make you hate everyone.
What a great segue into our into horror news.
Yeah, dude. Oh, yep. So many times.
But I got kind of strung into. Have you watched Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey?
Yes.
So yeah, I've only watched.
That's the original, like the first one, right?
I've only watched 15 minutes of it. I was like, this is fucking garbage. I can't watch it. I'm going to give it a chance.
It's not good though.
Well, it's like they had a great idea and they built it with no budget, and it kind of got a little bit of like oomph. So they came out with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
Is it called Blood and Honey?
No, Winnie the Pooh 2, Blood and Honey, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so the second one had a way bigger budget.
Yeah.
Apparently it's better. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet? Yeah. I don't know. Is it out?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I honestly have heard that it's significantly better. Like, it's actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
Is what I've heard in reviews of.
They have money. So, what I found out is not only are they riding with this Winnie the Pooh, They're now coming out.
Bringing the rest of them.
They're coming out with a Bambi movie.
The same production
Horror
company?
movie? Yeah.
Okay.
They're coming out with Bambi, Pinocchio, and their last big reveal is called the Poohniverse. So they're taking the Marvel approach and they're combining all these fairy tales that are now common denominator, and they're
I don't think that's the word you're looking for at all.
Common denomination domain.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've been drinking. You're smarter than me. Yeah, so common domain. These are now. So they're making a Avengers style Winnie the Pooh horror movie, which will feature all your beloved characters from Winnie the Pooh, Rabbit,
Yep,
Eeyore, Piglet, but now failed mention Pinocchio.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have Bambi. Well, there's a lot of other characters in this.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna
The Poohniverse.
the Poohniverse.
I don't love that.
I don't know if I do. That's where I was getting at. This is really all right.
I get it. I think that, and it honestly will tie into what we're going to focus this whole episode on is, do we really need to keep doing all these like remakes of things that have already been done? And we're going to like do this again and we're going to do this again. Like some things deserve a refresh.
Mm-hmm.
Some things do not.
Exactly.
But this something that we need to refresh?
I'm gonna watch horror.
Fuck it, I'll watch it.
I'm gonna watch horror Bambi for
Yeah.
sure. Pinocchio.
Oh, dude, are they gonna call it Dambi? Like DAMNBI?
I think it was like Bambi, First Blood or something. No, that's Rambo. Let me find it for you.
Bambo. It's Bambo, dude.
It's Bambo.
First Blood.
Here, I'll pull it up for you right now.
They did draw First Blood.
It's called Bambi the Reckoning.
I was really hoping it was me First Blood because, like, straight up they killed Bambi's mom and that was fucked up. I could see, honestly, this one's a better, from the get-go, I can see it way more than I can see the Winnie the Pooh thing.
And
You're
I
looking
think
up the Poohniverse.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, God.
I just want to show you this picture real quick because you're gonna give yourself a little chuckle. So this is the.
Oh, big screen it. Let's see it. Oh, my God.
So that's obviously Winnie the Pooh riding Bambi.
We got Bambi. We got Piglet.
Who's this chick?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm getting like super close on you. Oh, Piglet's down to the right, actually. That'll be Tigger. I'm not sure.
I'm assuming that are they fighting someone?
Let's see, honestly, you scroll down, there's the Twisted Childhood universe, and I actually like that better. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we got Pinocchio, we've got Winnie the Pooh, Bambi, Alice in Wonderland,
Peter Pan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, is Captain Hook maybe one of those people?
Maybe.
Either way, I like it, honestly. I like the Poohniverse way less than I like the Twisted Childhood franchise.
No shit,
Or
the Poohniverse is the stupidest thing ever.
Poohniverse is really dumb.
Childhood Assemble.
Yep.
Well, that's all I had for you.
Word, man. Way better. I'm excited for all of those movies. I'll watch them no matter how dumb they are.
100%.
Because that's what we do here.
That's what 100%.
I'm
Why do I
going to
keep
just
saying 100%?
quickly about 28 years later. This will be coming out next summer, June 2025. The trailer, have you seen it? The trailer for it?
Yes.
Looks cool as fuck.
Phenomenal.
There's a couple different things that I want to bring up about the trailer.
It was the second most viewed horror movie trailer of all time.
Behind what?
It. The new.
Okay. Cillian Murphy looks like he's done his best Christian Bale impression from The Machinist. And I'm super pumped that he decided he was going to go method on a zombie movie. So good for him on that. The second thing that caught my eye on the trailer was, I think, probably the thing that everyone's excited about. Maybe I'm just off base here. But the bone skull shrine.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is it? and I'm now dubbing it as Bonehenge.
That makes sense. Yeah, sure.
But like, it was like watching the trailer. It was so cool. It looks like a continuation of the original 2 movies. This will be the 3rd, right? Because it was 28 days, 28 weeks, and then now we're 28 years.
Yes.
They skip months, apparently. That doesn't matter.
Apparently months don't matter at all.
Yeah, once you hit weeks, it's kind of like the same shit. Originally, so the movie 28 Days Later has been missing from streaming and hard copy stock for a few months. And I thought this was like a crazy marketing ploy that they were doing. But interesting, like maybe they're like hiding the movie because they don't want people to watch it, leading to people want to watch this new movie and not just go watch the old one.
That doesn't make sense.
I don't know. Some weird marketing ploy that I was like, this is fucking crazy. That's definitely not the case. There was like this huge dispute over the rights to the movie 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. This all has to do with Disney acquiring all these different production companies. But as of today, the movie should be back on streaming as Sony has been granted the rights. So I think that maybe at this moment, it's back on streaming. All right. That's pretty much what I have about 28 months. Sorry, years. Because they
wish there was 20 months
later. It looks cool as shit. They didn't give a lot away in the trailers as far as like what the storyline is going to be. Like, you kind of watch the first 2 movies, you can kind of tell what's going on.
There's going to be zombies.
Yep.
Promise.
There's going to be zombies and they're going to fight them, and there's going to be, just like in every other zombie movie you've ever seen, hordes of people that protect themselves and they kill other people that are also trying to protect themselves because they want their things, and then there's also the zombies in the mix.
What do you think their next movie is going to be? 128
decades later.
128 decades later.
Well, it's just 28. It's 280 years.
28 decades later. That's a lot. It's 128 years later. We will not be alive for that movie.
It is cool though. They are like releasing it. Like,
I thought it was cool. Like, that it was
so
actually 28 years later.
Yep.
That was very smart.
Fucking kick ass. Good for them.
We're very excited.
Yep.
Mucho excited.
Dude, your Spanish is so good.
Thank you.
Gracias.
See.
I think it's time to move on to our main event. Are you ready to talk about Nosferatu?
Yes, please.
All right. So we've kind of structured this episode as like what you need to know going into Nosferatu 2024. Does that make sense for everyone? Like, does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay.
What do you think? I'm an idiot?
I don't know. You freaking call me a freaking idiot all the time, dude.
Yeah, well, you looked at me like, hey, we're talking about this movie.
Yeah, but like I just showed you the outline like a couple hours ago.
Okay.
And you probably had like a half hour to glance over the whole thing. So
sorry. Yeah. It makes sense.
Anyways,
buddy.
We are going to be talking Nosferatu, beginning with the original Nosferatu, released in 1922 and directed by F.W. Murnau. Murnau was a pioneer in German expressionist cinema, known for his use of atmosphere and shadow. While Nosferatu was not the first horror or even the first vampire film, Murnau's Nosferatu is often regarded as one of, if not the singular cornerstone for cinematic horror to this day. Produced by Prana Film, a studio that was created specifically for occult and supernatural stories, and founded by Alban Grau, a former German soldier who was told ancient folklore by his Slavic captives and found significant interest in the stories of vampires. Grau was also a practicing occultist, and after Nosferatu had plans to make several other films featuring occult symbology. Unfortunately, Nosferatu was Prana Film's only production due to legal troubles that followed. The story of Nosferatu is a loose-ish adaptation of Bram Stoker's 1983 novel Dracula.
1883.
Sorry, very true. 1883. Came out about 40 years before Nosferatu.
It's not loosely based. It's fucking.
It's pretty well based.
It's exactly
like when we were talking
They
about,
changed the names.
they did change the names.
Instead of the sexy
They got rid of the hot chicks.
Yeah,
We'll talk about this as we keep going, but like they introduced some new stuff that I think has actually stuck just as well as Bram Stoker's novel has. Most notably, they changed a few key details. Count Dracula became Count Orlok, and the setting shifted from Victorian England to Germany. Despite these changes, Stoker's estate sued and won, where most copies of the film Nosferatu were ordered to be destroyed. Thankfully, a few of the films were sent to the United States, and they did not have jurisdiction to destroy the films over here. So apparently movie and film pirating started in the United States, and it's going pretty strong to this day. Big ups to Pirate Bay.
Sure.
What you did?
I did.
You pay for all your movies, dude?
I do now, but yeah, I didn't when I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we definitely pay for all of our movies now.
So, do you think it was pirating that kept the Nosferatu movie alive in the 20s?
Yeah,
The fact that they had the film and someone held on to it.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that whatever you want to call it, unauthorized copies of the film were made. It wasn't supposed to even be featured in the United States because immediately, as soon as this film was shown in, I guess this would have been Germany, it reached the, whatever you want to call it.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
They did not secure any of the rights to the Dracula story.
Yes.
Even though they blatantly copied it. So the Stoker estate immediately sued them, pretty much made like a cease and desist order, and were very easily granted this because it's pretty obvious this is it's not everything is pulled from the story, but if you were going to make a half hour or like an hour and a half silent movie out of Bram Stoker's Dracula, it's pretty much exactly how you'd make this if you change the names to it. Yeah, you don't have the time to do all the other stuff that Bram Stoker's Dracula does. So you kind of just skip some parts.
And all the thick, good details and shit.
Yeah. Exactly. So I would definitely credit piracy.
Yes.
For the reason why we even have this movie to this day. Like we mentioned, it's not the first vampire movie, but it may be the first or the oldest one that we can even access as an audience, because lots of these movies pulled from it and were completely destroyed.
Well, it was the first one. It's known in the United States as the first.
Yes, but there were also The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari was an incredibly prominent horror movie that came out just before this that is maybe regarded just as highly as Nosferatu was as far as the horror genre goes in cinema. But it, like I said, it's one of, if not the most prominent figure in the foundation of horror cinema.
Yeah, it makes sense.
If you guys have either seen the movie or read or seen Bram Stoker's Dracula, you're going to understand all of these. But pretty much the basic storyline follows Thomas Hutter. He's a real estate agent who travels to Transylvania to finalize a deal with the notorious Count Orlok, a.k.a. Dracula. Orlok becomes infatuated with Hutter's wife, Ellen, and spreads terror once arriving in Germany. In the climactic ending, Ellen sacrifices herself by keeping Orlok distracted until dawn, knowing that sunlight will destroy him. Notably, that is different from the actual Dracula novel by Bram Stoker. As Orlok is consumed by sunlight, Ellen succumbs to her injuries, bringing an end to the vampire's terror, but at a great personal cost.
Dying.
Yep. She dies.
She's dead as shit.
In her boy's arms.
Didn't he bite her too?
What?
Didn't he bite her first too?
Dracula? Orlok. Oh yeah, no, he definitely... No. So, Orlok, in the movie, just... he gets kind of vaporized by the sun.
Well, he bites her first, and then...
No, he's... fighting her the whole time. He's sucking all the blood out. And because she finds like the book that like pretty much tells her how to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh, like only like a
her husband
virgin woman can kill the vampire by having him suck her blood until the sunrise. And so she just like goes ahead and does it. And so he definitely just like turns into like a little vapor cloud and then dies in her husband's arms because she has no blood left in her body.
No, it was still holds the test of time. Just the special effects of him being vaporized too.
Yeah, totally. It doesn't look totally ridiculous at all. I think at this point we'll just do a quick like 1, 2, 3, 2 things you liked about Nosferatu, and one thing that you didn't. I'm gonna let you go first on the first thing that you liked.
First thing I liked, just how over the top the actors were in this movie.
Yeah.
For like selling the fact that they weren't allowed to talk. In my head, I'm like, okay, these actors are like, well, I can't speak because the technology's not there.
Yep.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to laugh every single time something happens.
Well, and I get it because like you kind of have to. Like there's no nuance in like early 1900s film, right? Like there's no subtlety. Like you have to let your audience know what you're experiencing without any sound or any communication outside of your action, right?
No, 100% makes sense to me. Like one of the parts that I laughed the hardest is when the person that was supposed to be Renfield, which isn't Renfield,
Knock.
So the realtor that sends him to Transylvania goes, hey, you're going to Transylvania for this amount of time to sell.
Yeah.
Count Orlok wants to buy a house here where we're at, but
we'll make a lot of money.
You have to travel
way the fuck there because you can't do it here.
And he goes,
we'll make so much money, or whatever the says. Yeah.
And the other one is when he opens the coffin for Orlok,
mm-hmm.
and he's blown away the fact that he's a vampire.
Is that? That's not when he rises out of it. It's
no.
when he's in the castle
discovered. No, it's when Harkin. It's not Harkin because that's the actual
Hutter.
Hutter opens up the coffin and sees that Orlok is there.
Mm-hmm.
He realizes a vampire and runs out of that room and goes to the stairs. It's like Kermit the Frog.
It kind of is very much like his arms are just flailing around like this.
Oh my God, a vampire! Yeah. No. So I would say that is my favorite.
Okay, so the dramatic acting.
The over the top to
it
sell.
Honestly is something that like I do love about it because like you can't communicate any other way than that. Or like when you're like kissing your wife goodbye and you like straight up like smash your face into her. A little dramatic there.
Yeah. How else are they gonna know I'm trying to French her if my mouth's not wide open?
He like just like grabs her face and just like smash.
Yeah.
One thing that I really liked about the movie is maybe a little bit more artistic, and we're going to get more into this as we go, but the use, like we talked about earlier, F.W. Murnau's use of shadows and framing to make either things more suspenseful or make people look bigger, or we obviously have the scene where Count Orlok is going up the stairs and we don't actually even see the character. We just see the shadow going up, just like kind of creative things that for the most part, the movie isn't, in my opinion, very scary or suspenseful. But at the time, I could see it being that way because you're not used to seeing anything scary at all. And not being able to see the character but see their movements is like a really cool way, or like making your character look huge because you're framing them in a really small doorway, or shooting upwards out of the boat as he walks by and he looks really like dominating and almost like, you know, especially in the later half of the movie, there's like this inevitable feeling that Count Orlok is going to win no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
There's this dread and inevitable feeling that you get that he's just going to be there. And I think that, yes, the movie, like in a modern sense, to me, doesn't quite feel as scary as a normal, like modern scary movie does.
No,
But
yeah.
at the time, I could see why this would work. And there's a reason why this movie is credited so much as for like the birth of horror, because it really brings in long shots that kind of create these these uneasy feelings. And yeah, like I said, like just some artistic details that really do make this film a little bit different from the movies that were coming out at that time.
His face is all white, and his head's shaped like a heart. It's scary. That's a Harry Carey version. I thought about the part where he, like, not Harkins, Hutter looks over the balcony, right when Orlok is about to leave.
Yeah,
and you just see him.
Orlok is just fucking.
He's just taking these coffins. We're like, are these just like people he's killed? There's like clearly 6 coffins.
Yeah, I didn't. There's definitely some ambiguity to the movie that I was actually a little bit curious.
But it was just Orlok was just lifting those coffins and throwing them by himself.
I'm gonna just move into my second thing that I loved about the film is that it introduced, and this is perfect tie-in because it introduced some vampire lore that, like, I don't think, you know, like we get a lot of things out of this movie that weren't there before. From Bram Stoker's novel, there's no mention of why there's coffins, right? In this movie specifically, we get to know that the vampires get their power from the dirt that they were buried in.
Yes, that's what, and he has to bring that dirt.
Exactly. That's why he's loading up his coffin. But why are there 6 of them?
I thought other people were in those coffins.
Maybe.
I thought he killed people.
What about, like, I didn't quite get, I mean, like, I understand why the rats are there because they spread the plague.
He also eats them.
Does he just eat the rats? Is that what it is?
He also eats the rats.
So do the rats go out and, because there's this plague that, like, there's 2 bite marks and, like, he can't be doing all of this, right? Are the rats going out and biting people and getting their blood and then he's eating the rats?
No, I assume he's eating everyone's necks.
How, dude? He's got to be that's too busy, dude. He can't even help himself with one fucking chick, dude.
He just lusts over her.
I know, but like that's
vampires just been horny from the day
they've been horny.
He just lusts over this girl who randomly happens to be
literally just because she's like married. Like it's the only girl he's seen in fucking centuries.
Yes,
and he's like, "Yep, got to bang her." Or like whatever.
I got to kill her with my mouth.
Yep. Well, like as he's going there, like he's killing all these other people or like infecting all these other people. Why? Like, I thought that maybe it wasn't him doing it. It was maybe the rats doing it, and maybe he was like eating the rats that were filled with people's blood.
Very creative.
I don't know.
I also don't think that I mean, the people that wrote this movie or directed it, they probably did not think that far either.
I don't know, dude. I don't know why the rats are there.
Hey, here's rats.
Yep.
Here are coffins.
Yep.
Here are those things, and then here's the end of the movie.
Yep. Yeah, it did kind of like, I mean, there were 6 what we call acts in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 7 or 6? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I thought there were going to be 3. So as I was watching the movie, I was like, all right, I got through the first 2. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to come back and watch the 3rd act to watch the end of the movie, not knowing that it was halfway through the movie at that point. That was fun.
Yeah, it was just
it did go on for a long time.
Yeah, my ADHD did not enjoy it that much because I had to focus. So,
do you have a second thing you liked about the movie?
No.
All right, what do you got? What didn't you like about the movie?
I did not like the score.
You didn't like the score?
I liked the score.
We watched, so I know that there's a lot of different versions out there because this is a silent film and was meant to be actually performed by like a live either organist or an orchestra. But we both watched the one that's available, not the in color. You didn't watch the in color one, right?
No, I watched that.
You watched the black and white one, available on Amazon Prime. I didn't get to. Did you see if it was a different score for the in color one?
I did not.
Okay, I didn't either.
I doubt it.
But I know that there's a lot of different versions out there with all different scores. It'd be interesting to see like what the difference would be on how the score would change the feel of the movie. Like maybe you like a different score or something like that. But I didn't hate the score. I thought that maybe it was like it didn't make a whole lot of sense. But I think that as far as looking at the future of horror, it makes a lot of sense to look back at these old silent films to know what works and what builds suspense and maybe what doesn't fit at all. You know, I specifically remember when Orlok is like going on the boat. Not the I can't remember what the name of it is.
It's not the Demeter.
It's not the Demeter. It's the non-Demeter.
Non-Demeter.
The denominator.
The denominator.
But once he like gets to Germany and he's going down the canals on his own boat, there's this really weird like up-tempo kind of like it's supposed to be kind of suspenseful part of the score, and it like really doesn't work for me at all. And so I think that like seeing that through a different score could be interesting because it's like kind of like a silly part.
What's the instrument you think that's most dominant?
The violin, for sure.
Not in that part. Violin through most of the score.
Yeah. You're more of a sick guy than I am. But so, I don't know. I think like the score was like plus and minus. I think some parts it was good and some parts it didn't really work for me at all. It honestly took away from the movie. I think that a lot has to depend on what version of the movie you're watching.
I also kind of thought about the fact that the people that wrote the score, like when you said it was probably like people live writing music, they didn't really understand like
No, I mean like I think originally they had like a score that went out with the movie, but all that was destroyed. And that's I think why we also get so many different scores being with this movie.
That makes a lot of sense.
They were ordered to be destroyed, just like the movie was. So
see. See.
Do you want to run us through a couple of like the remakes or a couple of the other movies that you watched attached to this?
I don't, because you said it's not.
It's not important anymore. I just didn't write any of it down.
I didn't get far enough through the 1970s Nosferatu.
It's mostly like a scene for scene remake though with Werner Herzog. Yeah,
it's 100% like a scene for scene.
Yep.
Other than a couple of dialogue.
Yeah.
Like I assume that this director really liked Stanley Kubrick.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, and I know that he claims that this is the greatest German movie that's ever been made.
I'm sure. He does the same like no music, silent, like everything like the walking.
Yeah.
And everything's very loud.
Yep.
Everything else is silent. I'm like, oh, this is like if Stanley Kubrick had a watered down brother that.
Yeah. Did you get to see Shadow of the Empire?
No.
Okay. Have you heard about it?
No.
So Shadow of the Empire what's his name? Max Schreck, who plays Count Orlok, apparently did such a good job that people actually believe that he was a vampire that was cast to play a vampire in this movie. So what Shadow of the Vampire is literally like, think of it as like a behind the scenes movie about making the movie Nosferatu 1922.
Early VH1.
What's up?
Early VH1 behind the music.
Yeah. So it literally is a movie about, this is the Willem Dafoe one that I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this guy who is actually a vampire working with a director to make a movie about vampires. And it's like, I didn't get to see it because it cost money to watch it, and I didn't feel like it because I had fucking plenty of shit to do.
Wait for it.
Yep. But anyways, it just looked really silly and definitely like kind of fun to play with the idea that like, oh, maybe Max Schreck was actually a vampire and that's why he was cast in this role. But like, there's this one scene where it's just like, oh, like, why did you eat the sound guy? He's like, oh, he was closer to me than the camera person. Like, okay, that's
Nah. That's how I have about the old movie.
okay. Yeah. The only
Do you have something else you want to?
no, I think that. Do we want to talk at all about Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula?
No, I thought you didn't.
It's real horny. I'll tell you that
We
much.
should talk about it anywhere.
We can.
No, I feel like we don't have to.
All right. We can go directly transferring from Nosferatu 1922 to Nosferatu 2024. Nosferatu 2024 will be directed by Robert Eggers, known for The Witch, released in 2015, and The Lighthouse in 2019, as well as The Northman, released in 2022. Eggers is celebrated for his atmospheric storytelling and his attention to historical detail. The key cast members in this movie will be Bill Skarsgard as Count Orlok, bringing his haunting presence from It to this new role of Count Orlok.
Who was he in that?
He was Pennywise.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I did, but I just no.
You want to meet it?
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Lily Rose Depp is Ellen, Hutter's wife, adding a modern sensibility to the classic character. And then Nicholas Hoult and Willem Dafoe are in supporting roles, surprisingly, adding further intrigue into this movie. Nicholas Hoult will play Thomas Hutter.
Mm-hmm.
And then Willem Dafoe is going to play the doctor who is like not really a huge figure in the original Nosferatu. He like talks about the plants and stuff. Do you remember this guy? He like talks about like carnivorous plants that eat flies and stuff like that.
It was like maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah, but it's very, very minimal character. And
I assume it's gonna be bigger.
Robert Eggers loves Willem Dafoe.
Who
He was
does?
the main character in The Lighthouse. It's interesting to see, especially like even watching the trailers, how prominent of a role he even featured in the trailer, knowing how little of a role he played in the original Nosferatu. So I think that it's cool to see that maybe there's a little bit of a different take going on for this Nosferatu, and it'd be the scene-by-scene remake that we got with the 1970s version.
Yeah, exactly. I liked that they kept true to like the names, because the 1970s version did not.
No,
it
like half-assed it.
It was like Dracula was in it, Renfield was in it.
Yeah, Hutter though was also in it. So it's not Jonathan Harker and Mina.
Mm-hmm.
It's Ellen and Thomas Hutter, but then they have Dracula, and they also have, like you mentioned, all the like they pretty much did like a blend of Bram Stoker's Dracula and Nosferatu.
Yeah, they picked and choose like which one they really wanted,
which is kind of interesting. Why
that one's
like
more interesting.
Go one way versus the other. I don't know.
Yeah,
we've both seen the trailer for trailers, I guess. I've seen two
out now.
For Nosferatu 2024. What have we seen in the trailers that like excites you, that like gets you pumped up about this movie?
Just how like the new modern technology looks to portray this movie.
Yeah.
Like it's dark. It has that Robert Eggers feel to it. So where like there's certain
things like a grittiness that
like certain things are very dark.
Yeah.
And then certain things are kind of lit up.
Yep.
So like things on the face will be lit up where like the dress of the girl is it's dark.
Yep.
Like I think the first setting is like Ellen, where she's just like
she's laying in the garden with like these like orchids above her that are light.
Yes.
And she's wearing light, but then behind her is like this dark forest. So that's super interesting. You mentioned that. Like when I was doing the research on this, like Robert Eggers, just like the F.W. Murnau version, does not do like this, what they call like, I'll have to look up the name for it, but he doesn't shoot things in like mixed lighting. The film isn't tinted in a certain way.
Yeah.
And when it's shot in light, it's shot in this way. When it's shot in the dark, it's shot in a completely different way. And I think that that's like a really interesting way to like, before he even started this movie, he was shooting films this way. Because even in like The Lighthouse, he did like, it's all black and white, and he removed any of the red tint from his black and white shots. So it makes it even more like grayscale, and the characters look paler, and it has like a very unique kind of look to it that I thought was really cool.
Should I mention right now that I've never seen any of the other Robert Eggers movies?
You haven't seen The Witch?
No.
You should. It is phenomenal.
No, I plan on in the next 3 or 4 days.
Yep.
Trying to watch all of them.
Yep.
My plan is to watch all of
You
those
should.
before
The Northman is the only one that's not available on streaming.
you pay
For free.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I think The Witches is also not.
Oh, really?
For free, yeah.
I guess I rewatched The Lighthouse going into this because I've seen The Witch a bunch of times. Big shout out to my guy, Black Phillip. He knows who he is. Anyways, yeah, Robert Eggers has this very unique style that you're bringing up. That like, it's this dark kind of, I don't want to say that it's overly dark, but it's really raw and gritty, and it has this feel to it that he does like period pieces very well, to where somehow his film like looks accurate, even though it's shot in, with modern cameras and stuff like that. It looks accurate, and it has this feel to it that is old. And I think that's what we're also going to see in this movie, with like this twist on modern flair.
I kind of thought that's what he did.
It is
Just
it's like it's literally like it is
period pieces, right?
Yep. Yeah, I don't like. He's honestly like, he's so good at doing this period piece that like, I don't think I'd want to see him do something different, because he's so good at it.
You don't want him to remake Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Yeah, but he has to do it in like the
Period piece.
late 80s.
Oh yeah. Well, that's better without whiskey.
Did you do whiskey in this one?
No, I did whiskey in the first one. I did just vodka in that.
Yeah, no, vodka's pretty good with this. A little spicy there. I know that Eggers is also, so his background is in, he directed his first movie, The Witch, and then he kind of actually took some time off and did like set design and costume design on like not Broadway, but in New York City for plays.
Interesting.
Yeah, so his background is in specifically like set and costume design, and I think that it's why he works so well in period pieces, because he gets it like historically accurate. And then I think that the final thing that I really am excited about is, even from the trailers, you can feel like, you watch Robert Eggers' movies and he has this ability to convey like, all of his movies are really slow burn. They're not action packed. They're artistic films.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited to see, because the original Nosferatu was also a really slow burn. Not a lot happens, but there's this impending sense of dread that just drags on and keeps with you for the entirety of the movie. And he's going to be able to exploit that and do that in a much, in my opinion, better way.
Yeah.
Because, the original Nosferatu was good, but movies have come so far in the 100 years since the original.
102 years since.
Yeah. We're going to have this like slow, grinding, dreadful, torturing. It's going to be super suspenseful. He has this like habit of where he like kind of pans his camera in really slow ways from like one corner of the room to the other, that like I've noticed it even in movies that aren't, The Lighthouse is not necessarily like a horror movie, but you can tell something is bad brewing. And this is like such a good way, like he has this artistic way of like drawing that out of his audience. And I think that I'm excited to see him do that with this remake.
No, me too.
What didn't you see in the trailer that you have either questioning or you're wondering, what about this movie?
What didn't I see?
Like, what was like not in the trailer that you're like, oh, I wonder like what they're gonna do?
I honestly
with
don't
them.
remember.
Yeah,
I tried to like look it up today.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it.
So I was mostly curious, like, how true to form is he gonna run on this? And it seems like he's making his own deviations. But is he gonna go into like Orlok's backstory? We have that one scene in the original Nosferatu that kind of just tells us that, like, oh yeah, he's born of Belial, who is this demon that turned him into this character. Like, are we gonna get like a more in-depth story than that? Keep in mind, like, there's only so much time in this movie, so
2 hours, right?
yeah, exactly. I think that there's also something, from what I can see from the trailers, Lily Rose Depp seems to be the main character. So maybe we lose, like in the original Nosferatu, I think that Thomas Hutter is the main character, right? But he seems to be a very secondary character in the trailers that we're seeing. And maybe that's just because they're focusing so much on, let's call it Act 5 and 6 in the trailers, because that's when the action is happening. But I think that we're going to get a lot more of, we're going to get Orlok seeing Ellen earlier in the movie, and all of these torturous, let's call them like mythical or supernatural scenes, a lot more of that happening than in the original, where it was like, none of that really happened until much later in the movie. I think we're going to get it earlier, and it's going to be way more intense.
No, that makes sense, since like literally the first one was just, hey, I'm going to go there. I went there.
That's a nice net
I'm coming back.
to go.
I'll see ya. Ha ha ha. Potatoes.
All right, guys, quick technical difficulty. We had the stream drop on us. But we were talking about what are going to be like the main differences in this version versus the 1922 version. We mentioned that like Lily Rose Depp is going to be that main character that Thomas Hutter was in the original, and how we see her interaction becoming more prominent because of her interaction with Count Orlok happening in Argus much earlier in the movie, and this supernatural aspect being a way more prominent figure than in the original.
Yes.
Another part that I thought was going to be really interesting is the character of Willem Dafoe is playing the doctor who in the original Nosferatu played a very minimal role, where he kind of has this little segment where he talks about carnivorous plants. But now he is examined, like in the original Nosferatu, Lily, or I guess not Lily, Ellen gets examined by this doctor. This is the same doctor that is also looking at Nock, who is our Renfield in this movie. In this new remake, we see a lot more of Willem Dafoe playing this doctor character. It's a much more prominent role. So I expect to see a psychological aspect, because that's kind of what they're looking at with Ellen in the movie, playing a bigger role versus just being this, almost just like a foil in the original Nosferatu, the thing that ends up killing the demon. She's going to be a real character in this, and not just someone that leads Count Orlok to his death.
You don't think just William Dafoe like demanded a bigger role because he's just this big of a actor?
I think that Robert Eggers has his preferences for who he likes to do movies with. You'll watch The Lighthouse and you're going to see how fucking good Willem Dafoe is. It's really interesting because in The Lighthouse, it is almost like if you took Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin and Robert Pattinson as Edward from the fucking vampire movie. What was it? Twilight?
Yeah.
If you put those two in a room together and let them live just by themselves for 2 weeks is like honestly how I honestly see that movie playing out. So it's really interesting to see.
Is Robert Pattinson's in that movie too?
In The Lighthouse? Yeah. Yep. There's maybe 4 characters in the entire movie. I'm not going to spoil anything.
Okay.
There's 2 other characters outside of Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
Okay.
But this feeling of like inevitability is what leaks out of the movie. And like, you know that something's going to go wrong and there's nothing that anyone in the movie can do to stop it. So I don't know. I think that it's really interesting to have, like you're mentioning, like, why is Willem Dafoe in this movie? Well, I think that he's in this movie because Robert Eggers loves working with him. And I did see reports that Anna Taylor-Joy was also meant to be in this movie, but scheduling conflicts didn't work out. She didn't make it. We do have Lily Rose Depp, who is playing Ellen in this movie, and the whole thing honestly seems to be mostly focused around her, which is a pretty solid departure from the original Nosferatu.
Yeah.
I think that leads in pretty well to like what we expect from this most recent Nosferatu. So Robert Eggers is known for his unique filmmaking style. It's super artistic. We've seen that, like we talked about in the trailers. The opening scene is like, it looks like a painting almost, where like you have Lily Rose Depp in like this like white, almost, it's not a wedding gown, it's definitely like a sleeping gown. But then there's these like white orchids above her, and then this huge darkness behind her, and like this hand kind of comes out of nowhere and like grabs her. It's very on par, or like par for the course for Robert Eggers in the way that he does these really artistic shots. But even more so, he is really well known for these intense atmospheres, this historical accuracy, and a huge focus on folklore. And I'm really interested to see, the original Nosferatu created parts of the folklore that we come to understand as vampire folklore today, specifically like them being vaporized by the sun. Stoker's Dracula didn't mention it.
Oh, really?
No. Nope. At the end of the like Stoker's Dracula talks that they're weakened by it, but this movie specifically made it so that vampires are destroyed by the sun. They also have like their coffins give them power because it's the dirt that they were buried in came from this movie. So I'm interested to see how Eggers, like in the 3 movies, he's only made 3 movies so far, and they have all been, The Witch was surprisingly a blockbuster movie on the lowest budget out of all of his movies. The Lighthouse was an incredibly good experimental film. The Northman was a Universal picture. A ton of money went into the movie, and it didn't flop, but it definitely lost money. This is an interesting, I have a feeling that this is also maybe going to lose money, especially seeing how big the trailer is. Robert Eggers has made very small movies in terms of like how big the actual movie takes place in. We get these scenes of the town that are fucking massive, and he is so particular about his sets and how he wants things portrayed that I'm assuming he's spending a ton of money on making this town look exactly how it's supposed to, and he's not dealing with a singular lighthouse or this little farmhouse in The Witch that is outside of Salem.
You don't think that they are like this whole advertisement or everything they're doing is not bringing him like bigger into the masses?
I don't know, man. I think that, in my opinion, the marketing has been kind of lacking on this movie. They're also releasing a maybe groundbreaking horror movie on Christmas Day. No one's gonna go on Christmas Day.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure. But like, in my opinion, it's a pretty fucking bold move to release a movie on the day that most people are like, hey, we're doing family stuff, and you can't bring your fucking family to the Nosferatu movie.
The 2 of the biggest days to go to the movies are Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Is that real?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, prove me wrong. Like, not even saying like being a jerk or anything. I straight up didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So,
I can see where like a horror movie.
Yeah, like this is not going to be a family movie.
I also don't think
it's going to be brutal. It's going to be gritty, and it's going to be like nasty almost. You're going to feel gross in this movie.
I think this is going to be more advertised as a mainstream movie over a horror.
You think so?
100%.
Hmm.
I like if it wasn't, I don't think they would have done it on Christmas Day.
Okay.
Christmas Day is a day for very big movies.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think they're literally putting all their eggs in the one basket of this. They're really hoping that this is.
Well, obviously, any studio that's putting out the movie, you have to like choose your release date specifically. And like, honestly, to me, it's like, as someone that maybe isn't like the most religious person, that is like, maybe against a little bit of like Christian authority type stuff, like releasing a movie that is about a demon on Christmas Day, I respect that. Yeah. I think it's pretty fucking bold, and it's a big move, but I think that it's cool.
Yeah, offended me. I'm pretty religious.
Yeah, I know you are, dude, and I hope that you can swallow that down and just get along with this movie.
We'll see what I can do.
All right, I want to try this mango one. Can you get that rolling?
Can I open the top for you? Sure. It's closer to you, though.
All right, I'll do it then. So, in The Witch, you haven't seen it, but it's pretty much about the Salem witch trials, to where this like family kind of, specifically these girls, get somewhat possessed by this demon or devil that is like taking control of this goat named Black Phillip.
This is tying to Nosferatu, or?
Well, kind of. There's this atmosphere about all of David Eggers' films that he doesn't do too much. He kind of just gives it to you as it is and lets you make the decisions on like who's good and who's bad and who's right and who's wrong. He like tends to stray away from that. And I think that that's going to be maybe a little bit complicated in a movie like this, where there's obviously a bad guy and there's obviously a good guy, or whatever. There's definitely a bad guy though, right? We can agree that Count Orlok is the bad guy.
Yeah.
He's done pretty well working in like the gray areas of who's good and who's bad and who's at fault and who's not. And I think that that's really difficult with a character like Count Orlok. So I'm interested in what you think. Like, how does he make a character like Count Orlok a good guy? Or does he not? Is he just going to stick to a script that is like, this is the bad guy and we're going to run with that? And I guess that kind of deals into the trailer. Like, we get this feeling that like you see the hand kind of like reaching over the town, like the shadow, and you see the shadow and like the drapes as they're blowing into the house as Lily Rose Depp is standing there. Maybe he is just going to be a bad guy, but I'm interested to see.
I'm interested to
what you think,
where you thought he was going to be a good guy.
Well, that's what I'm curious. Like, how do you make a character like this good? Because I think
it's not. He's literally going to be the bad guy. I think they're going to be very similar to the script of 1922 to like pay respect. But I also think they'll like make it very more dramatic.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't see him like
he's not
doing a whole deviation on that.
Hey, kids across America, let me help you out.
No, I don't.
He's going to eat people.
I don't see kids across America.
How did you think he was going to be the good guy?
Well, no, but like he's done very well at that, of not making, and like maybe he hasn't dealt with a character like Count Orlok before. He's dealt with a lot of folklore, and that's why I'm super pumped to see what he can come up with, because he's going to deep dive into all of this crazy like Slavic and Eastern European folklore that is going to give us the background on who Count Orlok is and what a vampire actually is. Not just like this whitewashed version that we've been given over 100 years of vampire lore through cinema and through books and stuff like that. We're going to get like a true original representation, which is going to be really cool. I think that there's going to be some way that he's going to humanize or make Count Orlok a relatable figure in some way. So I don't know how he's going to do that, but I'm really interested to see how, because he can't not.
No, I think he's just going to be he's going to be a killer.
Yeah.
I think that he's going to do a really good job of making him a killer. I think he's going to humanize and make Ella make the two other main characters be very relatable.
Yep.
But I think Orlok is going to be a straight up killer.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry to burst your bubble.
No, dude. I think that you're wrong, but I would love to be wrong. We talked a little bit in the earlier segment about all the rats that were in the movie and like what they signified and who they were and stuff like that. The rats are back. From what I have read, there's 2,000 trained rats that are being used in this movie. Now, compared to the original, there was like maybe like 30. Because like pretty much the only time rats are in the old, like in the 1922 version, is like when they crack open one of the caskets, 5 or 6 come out, or like when they're like scurrying around the town and they're like on like the rooftops and stuff like that. 2,000 is a fucking lot of rats. I'm excited to see how they use 2,000 rats in like just one scene.
Or trained rats too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're gonna like fucking. It's gonna be like a wave of rat.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
rat
cool.
wave, baby.
Rat wave, man.
Everybody had matching towels. It was a rat wave.
All right. Let's see. Where were we at? We're already seeing that there's some significant departures from the original movie. We have Lily Rose Depp, the Ellen character, being the main character, I think. Willem Dafoe's character, who was barely even in the first one, being a featured character, it looks like. We have a background character of Thomas Hutter. What other big changes do you expect to see in this movie from the original? And what similarities do we expect to see as well?
I expect to see a lot of the classic scenes from the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nosferatu walking up the stairs, or Nosferatu
On the boat, for sure.
Walking through the doorway.
Yep.
Or on the boat. I think they'll definitely keep those. But I think they're going to dramatize like Nosferatu and make him a little bit scarier.
They have to. He's almost silly at this point.
Mm-hmm. That's
Even looking at like the action figure here, it's like, that's a fucking silly person right there.
Yeah.
Like,
all I'm seeing from the trailer are the main two characters.
Yeah, we don't see Nosferatu. Which, like, and we talked about it. I'm pumped that they just held that, because for someone that's very excited to see this movie, I love the fact that I get to see it live and I don't have to fucking everything was given to me in the trailer. I don't want to. I hate movies that do that.
Yeah, I think the days are over when that happens.
Yeah,
because so many people like complained about the fact that it was happening.
Yeah, but you also have movies that like don't have a lot of substance, that like, we're gonna show you all the things that you think and you're gonna get a lot more out of it, but like then you don't, because we showed you everything that you were gonna see in the movie.
Yeah, like the Pooniverse.
Yep. All right. So things that you do expect are gonna be some similar scenes. Specifically, we talked about like up the stairs. From the trailer, the coolest one that I saw was definitely as the sheets, or like the blinds, I guess. I don't know, what do you call those? As like the window covering. Yeah, let's call them like the like transparent drapes. As like, we're talking about Count Orlok going up the stairs, and we see like that shadow figure, and we do see in the trailer, like as the drapes are blowing in, these transparent drapes, we see the shadow of a figure that we are assuming is Count Orlok. Do you think we'll see a scene by scene of him going up the stairs, or do you think like that's kind of his representation there? I know this is maybe a little weedsy, like getting into like technical details, but I don't know if we're gonna see a scene by scene of him like crawling up the stairs. He's already in the window there. He doesn't need to like go up the stairs. We're seeing a more powerful Orlok at this point.
No, I think that's an like iconic.
You think we'll see it?
The video like from the first.
Yep.
So I think they'll definitely make it like a big deal.
Okay. Yeah. I think I agree with you. I just maybe think that Robert Eggers is a director that loves to challenge himself and his medium, I guess, cinema in general. And I don't think we're going to see and I could be wrong here, this is me like playing devil's advocate, saying maybe he's going to throw away everything and he's going to do a literal remake in his own way of this movie. And he's not going to use a single scene from the original into his own remake. He's going to see it and be like, nope, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm not going to use any scenes from the original. I'm going to use my own scenes, paying homage, but not doing it the same way. That's kind of how I saw that, like, as the drapes are blowing in and the shadow being there, but the character not actually being there.
Yeah, I don't think many people are going to be upset. Like, I don't think a lot of people have seen the 1922.
Yeah, they might not care.
Yeah, maybe like 7 to 20 people will be like, what the fuck?
I mean, to be fair though, like we're acknowledging that this is maybe one of the most important films made in the horror genre in the last 100 years. Someone like Robert Eggers is going to care about that.
Yeah,
so I think that he's either going to completely like go with it and say, yes, we're going to do these scenes in a modern sense, or he's going to say, no, we're rejecting those and making them our own. It's not going to be an in-between, though, where it's like, oh, we have kind of like the same scene, but it's a more modern version of it. He's too good of a director and too artistic to do something like that. So I expect to see a lot of like our traditional scenes, either they're going to be updated in his own way because he's too good of a director to just copy. So I think that kind of like sort of brings us to the end. We have Bill Skarsgard, who's going to play Dracula. Sorry, Count Orlok. I misspoke.
Yeah.
And I don't know who plays Knock, but I'm excited to see that because he was like I think he was maybe like the most interesting character in the original because he's just absolutely crazy.
Not at first. He was like fine, and then
he was crazy the whole time.
Okay.
You remember like you're talking about him being like, you know, the super dramatic fucking acting. He was definitely part of that. Like,
oh yeah,
he's like doing like the scheming fingers at the beginning, and like, you know, he has this piece of paper that's written in like Aramaic and shit like that like is pretty much like devil writing.
Yeah,
for the most part. So I think that this movie, I'm super excited about it. Do you have any questions? Anything you want to address?
I have no questions at all.
Sweet.
I'm just also very excited about this.
Yeah, dude. I think that this is a necessary remake of one of the most iconic movies in film history, done by an incredibly artistic and just overall fantastic director.
I agree.
Combined with like a pretty kick-ass all-star cast. I think this movie has the ability to become one of the greatest movies, not just horror, but like in general, greatest movies of all time.
All time.
I'm fucking excited to see it. Yep. It comes out December 25th.
When are you gonna go see it?
Big screen and IMAX. I don't know. I gotta find time.
Like the Christmas, no.
I can't go on Christmas. Maybe I can go on Christmas.
No one can go on Christmas.
If you can catch it in IMAX, please do. The fact that it is replicating a silent film, there's going to be a lot of attention paid to the sound in this movie, and an IMAX film combined with like the just like visual aesthetics. It's not going to be like an action film that is going to be super cool to see on a big screen, but you're going to get the best visuals and the greatest sound in an IMAX film. If you have the opportunity, go see it in IMAX because I'm jealous I won't be able to. But this movie is going to be fucking kick-ass. No matter what, it's going to be an artistic masterpiece. I'm excited, and I can only say go see the movie.
I agree. With that being said, thank you so much for listening to us ramble and talk. You know what to do. Please like and subscribe. Tell your little sister, your brother to like and subscribe.
But like, make sure that they're like 16. No one under 16 should
have to watch
podcast.
And then with always been saying,
What do we
Please.
say?
drink down those demons.
Drink them down. Drink them down. And go see Nosferatu.
Go see that.